In a new book titled The Hymn of the Far North, we learn about hymns passed down for generations among the Frost Moon Scions. And within the hymns, we learn more about the Primordial One, the Four Shades, the Moons, and even, potentially, Paimon. The lore bombs in this new book are huge, so sit back and grab a snack, because we have a lot to discuss. Prayer Song 1. Pitkamunen, Lord of the Seven Calamities. O Supreme Lord of the Sky, merciless and indomitable, Father of all and Mother of the gods, we offer these sacrifices to appease your jealousy, lest your wrath blaze against the earth. O capricious winged one, fierce king who lays waste to nations, God of the unyielding heart. O God of gender unknowable, we plead that you turn from the mortal realm and the children of the farthest north. You have shattered the order of the old laws and offered shelter to mortals, and yet blank them. You have shaken the ancient dwellings of the Eternals, blanked their wings, and laid waste to their blank. You are the god of retribution, the vengeful deity. Your will is absolute beneath the moon, never to be disobeyed. In heaven and on earth, your blade blank, drinking dry the blank of the wicked and the innocent. O blank and blank king, before you, the gods are as mere mortals, and mortals naught more than insects. No one dares to speak your name, for you shall blank all who know it. But, O pure and wrathful God, we humbly ask you to accept this offering. May the frost moon shield us from the calamities you bring, and spare us the fate of eternal suffering. The Frost Moon Scions dedicated this hymn to the heavenly principles, to shield themselves from its divine wrath. The Frost Moon Scions hailed from Hyperborea, an ancient city that sank during the Great War of Vengeance. And if you're thinking of pulling any Nod Cry characters, be sure to check out Loot Bar. Loot Bar is a website that offers cheaper top-ups for games such as Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. Loot Bar is cooperating with the Hoyoverse routing partner so that your transactions will be completely safe, which is why they have thousands of 5-star reviews on Trustpilot. And with the 6.0 double bonus reset, you can get 2 times the Primogems while saving money through Loot Bar. Just choose the crystal pack you want, input your server and UID, complete the purchase, and wait a few seconds for your Primogems to arrive. New users can also get a coupon for 10% off, making your Primogems even cheaper. Other creators, such as Dukaja and Teva Times, have also utilized Loot Bar to save money while wishing for characters, because there really is no better deal out there. So, if you want to collect your favorite characters while saving money, just click on the first link in the description and check out Loot Bar for yourself. Based on their description of the Primordial One, it's safe to say that the Frost Moon Scions viewed it as a wrathful god who punished both the innocent and the guilty. This aligns with the punishment inflicted on the people of Khaenri'ah, which cursed all citizens with immortality regardless of their involvement with the Cataclysm. Although what the Primordial One did to mortals is redacted, I think it may have to do with the shackles placed upon its creations. Despite usurping Teyvat to provide a suitable home for humanity, the Primordial One keeps humanity shackled to a fate system it controls via Irminsul. But what stood out to me most was the name used to refer to the heavenly principles, Pitkamunen, which sounds very similar to the name of our traveling companion, Paimon. This similarity is shared in CN, where you only need to remove the second and fourth characters to spell Paimon. In my previous video, I proposed that Paimon was a manifestation of the Primordial One's pure consciousness that manifested into the waking world. In Skirk's story quest, the traveler is introduced to a Seelie-like creature that guides the traveler through Skirk's inner world, which had grown run down as a result of her repressing her emotions. It's later revealed that during Skirk's training, her master, Sotologi, told her that he would destroy everything she came to love if she hadn't grown strong enough to defeat him by the time he returned. To avoid going through the pain of loss again, Skirk began repressing her emotions and avoiding human interaction. And those repressed emotions eventually manifested into the creature that guided the traveler through her inner world. After Skirk got hurt and weakened during a fight, the creature broke free from her mind to contact the traveler for help in reaching Skirk, and when it finally confronts her, the creature, with some help from the traveler, is able to convince Skirk to embrace her repressed feelings of love and joy. The quest ends with Skirk merging with the creature, healing her inner world and teaching her the strength of love. Interestingly enough, Skirk's story sounds oddly similar to the story of the Primordial One. Although the Primordial One started off as a loving god who only hoped to see humanity happy, in time, invaders descended from beyond the firmament, bringing with them destruction, overturning rivers, spreading plagues. But although the invaders brought war to Celestia, they also brought about illusions that could break through the shackles placed on angels by the Primordial One, fueling them to rebel against it. But the Primordial One, consumed by fear for the rising tide of delusions and breakthroughs, sent down celestial nails to heal the land, laying waste to Tevat. It then cursed the angels and exiled them before cutting off all communication with humanity. Simply put, despite initially being a loving god, the Primordial One grew angry with humanity's disobedience and no longer communicates with them, only interfering when necessary for their survival. With that in mind, I believe that Paimon is a manifestation of the Primordial One's repressed love for humanity. In addition to their similar names, Paimon's cape depicts 3 radiant moons, and after usurping Tevat, the Primordial One gained control of the radiance of the 3 moons. Furthermore, Paimon has previously been depicted with wings and a crown, which matches with the description of the Primordial One. Paimon has also previously called herself the God of Protection, which matches the Primordial One's protecting nature. I recommend checking out my previous Paimon theory if you'd like to hear more. But I essentially believe that Paimon is the waking consciousness of a sleeping god, the Primordial One. After the Primordial One got hurt and weakened during the Cataclysm, Paimon broke free from its mind and later got fished up by the Traveler, whom she is now guiding through the world within the Primordial One's eggshell. When they finally arrive in Celestia, Paimon, with the help of the Traveler, will need to convince the Primordial One to merge with her, sharing her accumulated knowledge and experience. In doing so, the Primordial One will finally view the world through the lens of a mortal, gaining a newfound understanding of humanity and saving them from its Paimonial wrath. Moving on, let's take a look at Prayer Song 2, Mataraka, Mother of Life. Hear me, O noble Mataraka, Mother of gods and mortals. From Hyperborea to Salvindagnir, your compassion is revered by all. You watch over young women, easing their suffering and granting safe passage through childbirth. You rejoice in fecundity, give life to the sublunary sphere, nurture all that grows in nature. You, Mother of the waters, who birthed a heart for the roaring primordial ocean, all the birds, beasts, and fish in this world are yours, for you are the one who brought them into being. By your divine will, you shape mortal flesh as a potter shapes clay. Therefore, I pray you bless this newborn child with health, courage, and wisdom. The Frost Moon Scions dedicated this hymn to the Shade of Life, Naberius. Unlike the description for the Primordial One, the Shade of Life is described as a compassionate, loving god. Interestingly, the Frost Moon Scions call Naberius the Mother of Gods and Mortals, while also calling the Primordial One the Father of all and Mother of Gods. This may suggest that the 4 shades were aspects split from the Primordial One itself. However, I find it more likely the Primordial One created the 4 shades from another source and divided its creational authority among them all. During Nahida's second story quest, Apep told us that in the war against the Primordial One, the winner would earn the right to shape the world. In other words, the winner would gain the authority to recreate the world to their liking. After defeating Nibelung, the Primordial One may have inherited the authorities associated with creation, life, death, time, and space, which it then divided among its 4 shades, similar to how the 7 elemental authorities were divided among the rulers of the Archon War. Naberius got the authority of life, Ronova got the authority of death, Istaroth got the authority of time, and Asmodee got the authority of space, leaving the Primordial One with the authority of reason. This may also be why the Shade's powers abide no reason. Before Reinardotter merged with Naberius and gained the authority of life, her attempts at creating artificial life often resulted in failure, with the creatures being prone to corruption. Similarly, the Shade's powers may abide no reason because they were not granted the authority of reason. Moving on, let's look at a hymn dedicated to the Shade who mirrors life. Prayer Song 3, Tuonetar, Mother of the Underworld. O Mistress of the Dead, slow to be moved and without expression, O shadowy Lady of the Underworld, somber, taciturn, fearsome Tuonetar, you abhor the arrogant and the disrespectful and from your grasp there is no escape. Your feet have trod both the humble hut and the gilded throne. The people fear you, for you see all, hear all, and judge all. We revere you for your boundless grace and all-embracing nature. The fate of all living beings rests solely in your hands, and you remain unmoved no matter how fervent the plea. Yet, noble and majestic goddess, we know that gentleness and mercy are your first nature, just as you granted our ancestors liberation from suffering and extended it not. O mistress of death, you who know the fates of all under the moon, accept our humble offering. The descendants of the far north beseech you, now that the golden bloodline has returned to your bosom, that you lead us across the nether's dark stream, and let us sleep eternal in a dreamless dream. The Frostmoon Scions dedicated this hymn to the Shade of Death, Ronova. Similar to Naberius, they describe her as a gentle and merciful goddess. As the Shade of Death, Ronova is the final fate all living beings will meet. What I found most interesting was the Frostmoon Scions' description of the afterlife, which may reveal what happens after people die. Death in Tevat is an abstract concept. Although we've seen people being guided to the afterlife, there have also been instances of souls being left to wander. And during Chitlali's story quest, we learned that people have both a spirit and a soul, which are separate from each other. But if someone's soul goes to the afterlife after they die, what happens to their spirit? Well, I think Hoyo answered that question back in Sumeru. During the Aranara questline, we were told that death is merely a one-time loss of memories. But that contradicts the existence of an eternal afterlife, unless it isn't a person's soul that dies, but rather their spirit. I have much to say about the purpose of the spirit and the soul, but in the interest of time, I will save elaboration for a future video. That being said, I did notice that the Frostmoon Scions' description for the afterlife sounds very similar to Dainsleif's description of Chainria, a place where people dream of dreaming. I don't have much to add, but it felt worth noting. Moving on, let's look at the hymn dedicated to the one who maintains the cycle of life and death. Prayer Song 4, Laimelea, Mother of Time. O pure and eternal Mother of Time, sovereign who was never born and who shall never die. You create all and destroy all. You remember all and allow them to be forgotten. You who in the moment of your birth also gave birth to yourself, O Supreme Mother, you are the one stillness within the endless flow, the one outsider in the sacred courtyard of the gods. May you protect the 4 imprisoned moons. You are the one outsider in the sacred courtyard of the gods, the one stillness within the endless flow. O Supreme Mother, who in the moment of your own birth also gave birth to yourself, you remember all and allow them to be forgotten. You create all and destroy all. O Sovereign who shall never die and who was never born, pure and eternal Mother of Time. I found this hymn the most interesting for obvious reasons. Compared to the hymns for Naberius and Ronova, Istaroth is described as someone much more divine, the one outsider in the sacred courtyard of the gods. The Frostmoon Scions' description of Istaroth is very similar to the description given to her by the Enkanomians, who claim she was the only shade who had not abandoned them after Enkanomia sank. We knew the only one who had not forsaken us as the ruler of time. She was the moment. She was every moment. She was the measure of 1,000 winds and the sun and the moon. She was every second of joy, every moment of rage, every instant of longing, every minute of obsession. She was every flash of delirium. We call her Kairos, or the ruler of the unchanging world. We dare not speak her true secret name, and so I pen it here, only once, and in reverse, Htoratsi. I always found the Enkomians' description of Istaroth very interesting, since it sounds like Istaroth was never just a shade, and as the ruler of time, it makes sense for her to play a larger role. After all, time must pass for things to die, just as time must pass for things to be born. Memories are the fruits of time, and without them, existence would be meaningless. In other words, Istaroth's domain, time, is the medium in which all things happen, and I believe the Frostmoon's description of Istaroth may have revealed the true origin of the shades. Many people have been under the impression that the 4 shades were merely creations of the Primordial One. But if Istaroth was never born and shall never die, she must have been a more primordial force. And the same applies to Naberius and Ronova, Who can create life, if not life itself, and who can cause death, if not death itself? Rather than being mere constructs of the Primordial One, the four shades may be incarnations of the powers of creation. Istaroth may be the embodiment of time itself, hence her clock-like design and undying nature. The Primordial One may have used another source to create the bodies the shades now inhabit. That may even be why Ronova said they were cast as shades. They were initially primordial forces of creation, but after the Primordial One gained the authority of creation, it gave them bodies and the duty of being a shade. This may also be why Ronova could not allow Capitano to trigger a paradox. It would go against the natural order of the world, the order that defines her very existence. With that in mind, Asmodee's disappearance may be the reason why Teyvat's borders are weakening. By abandoning her post, Asmodee has caused the very concept of Teyvat's space, or rather domain, to slowly fade out of existence. And oddly enough, Asmodee is the only shade whose hymn is missing from the Frostmoon Scion's records, and, as told to us in the Traveller's character story, she herself is fading. The Sustainer is fading away. The Creator has not yet come. Will Asmodee return before she's forgotten by history? Only time will tell. Post-video syncs here. This video was initially going to cover all lore drops in the new book, like the reveal of the third Descender and the creation of the Nosies. But I settled for the shades to keep things from becoming convoluted. That being said, I did want to note that Istaroth's hymn asks her to protect the 4 imprisoned moons, which should be referring to 4 physical moons. If so, I find it very likely that the 4 shades' physical bodies were created using the 4 moons. Although Nibelung only officially raised 3 moons, he had constructed a 4th moon that he failed to raise. After gaining control of Teyvat and the radiance of the 3 moons, the Primordial One may have used their radiance to create bodies for Naberius, Ronova, and Istaroth, before finally using the 4th unactivated moon to create Asmodee. Asmodee may have the authority of Void since she was created using the power of an empty moon. Meanwhile, the other shades were created using the power of 3 moons that wove Teyvat's fate. And fate itself is intrinsically tied to life, death, and time, the powers of Naberius, Ronova, and Istaroth. This may also be why Asmodee is the only shade without a proper triquetra and her glitchy appearance. She was made from the 4th, incomplete moon, separate from the Trinity. And when you really think about it, the Primordial One, using the power of 4 moons to create 4 shades, makes perfect sense. After all, who can imprison starlight? All that will be left is shade. But what do I know? These are just my outlandish speculations. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like and/or subscribing. I hope you all have a great rest of your days, evenings, and nights. See you in the waking world.